Whoopsie doozer. Whoop.
This is riveting content.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we made it to 2019.
Yay. Well, not yet.
If you're listening to this, it's 2019.
I suppose so. Okay, so if none of us die in the next like 5 days,
Killing it.
are either of you like really sick and not telling us? Charlie?
No, it's you, aren't you?
Oh,
No, I'm not.
You're the one. Yeah.
Oh, the black lung.
I got the black lung.
I pretty much got Outbreak Monkey written on my resume.
Oh,
so.
man.
Perfect.
Can you believe it? I was at home and my cousin was telling me, he's like, oh man, because I was like, how's your holiday going? He said, brutal. I got assaulted the other day. And I'm like, what? Are you okay? He's like, yeah, well, so he's a big guy. He's walking into the gas station and he gets right inside the door and someone comes up behind him and sticks something in his back and is like, give me all your money right now. Oh, and just starts shouting at him. He's like, this has got to be a guy from work. Turns around, doesn't recognize the guy, and he's like, and the guy's like, "Well, you think this is funny? I'm not messing around here." And he's like, are you joking right now, or is this serious? And then,
real?
yeah, and then the guy inexplicably started grabbing Dorito bags and throwing them at him. And my cousin, whose name is Scott, was like chopping them out of the air, splitting the bags open while he's screaming at the person, the cashier, like, "I don't know this guy. Call the cops right now." And so the guy left, and he took a picture of this, and there's just chips, just everywhere, just bags of chips.
All those days of Fruit Ninja really paid off.
he's like, I think I was assaulted, and
But he's okay.
he's okay. He's fine. He's fine.
He walked away.
He did,
unharmed.
and but the guy was like really aggressive. Yeah. So yeah.
Well,
and then my other relative was like, "Oh, it was salt and vinegar."
It's a conspiracy!
Yeah, pretty
In the
scary.
future, you could do that story and then hit it home with the assault and vinegar.
Because another person in my family said that. I'm like, that is hilarious, but.
Oh, so you come from a family of terrible people.
Oh, they are all terrible, and they have bad humor, and it's like going home is like, oh, all the jokes make it worthwhile. Hey, Jack. Well, welcome back to It's a Conspiracy, the podcast where we let the beliefs behind. I'm going to try this again. Okay.
You started off with a weird beat. You're like,
Yeah.
welcome to It's a Conspiracy.
Yep. Totally. Little bounce. Okay. Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Welcome back to It's Conspiracy, the podcast where we lay out the beliefs behind selected conspiracy theories, alternative accounts, legends, myths, and more. As always, we will do our best to explain what the supporters of these theories believe without offering opinions on validity, accuracy, etc. until the end of the episode, where we will give a brief opinion or comment on each. I was told brief because apparently our Star Trek dialogue went on a little long, but okay, we're going to keep it
deal with
short.
it is
I
kind
know.
of what I have to
That's
say.
what
to
I
that.
was saying too.
It's
I'm
about
like,
to get a lot longer.
yeah, holy. I'm your host, Andrew, and I do not claim to be an expert on any subject we are going to discuss. I'm just interested in finding out what the supporters of these theories believe, and I'll do my best to provide resources in the episode description if you're interested in snooping further. Everything here was gathered online and is likely asked backwards because A, these are relatively new and still developing. These are all really new theories that we're going to talk about today, and B, it was the holidays, so it was hard to find extra time when I had both energy and sobriety.
Yeah, when you weren't pounding the eggnog.
Man. Oh, I stayed away from the eggnog. I was telling these guys earlier I'm lactose intolerant. And then last special, we had ice cream, lactose-free ice cream. And the next day, I'm like, son of a bitch. Because, yeah, my colon was just ripping itself to shreds. And I'm like, I can't believe that ice cream wasn't lactose-free.
But it wasn't the ice cream.
And then Greg's like, yeah, those 7-layer treats we had, full of condensed milk. And I'm like, that's what it was.
Yep.
So, yeah.
What, you want another one?
No, I'm good. I'd already eaten one, so tomorrow I'm going to be. Yeah. So, joining me today are my good friends Charlie and Judas. Sorry, Greg. These two juggernauts of chuckles will interject as they see fit with their comedy stylings. There we go.
Chuckle nuts?
Chuckle nuts. And Charlie's got his bright red microphone on, which is always a treat. It didn't change color last time. Keeping an eye out. I do notice it's got a pink one over here. So
Hey.
Oh, sorry. No.
Stop looking at my pink one.
This episode will be a little bit different. We are going to do a quick review of 3 conspiracy theories from 2018, a quick review of our world famous segment, What Are We Drinking? And then we're going to have a little Q&A with Good Time Charlie and Gentle Greg.
Beauty.
Yeah. Okay. Really quick before we get started, please check out at Is It a Conspiracy on Twitter.
Check out is at what?
What?
Check out at Is It a Conspiracy on
you go.
Twitter.
There you go.
That's run by our Irish madman. Our Facebook group, It's a Conspiracy. Our Instagram page, It's a Conspiracy Podcast, and our email, It's a Conspiracy at protonmail.com. I've got a couple messages from people. It's really cool. This is all up for free, and we thank you so much for listening. But if you would like to support the show for as little as $1 a month, we would really appreciate it. There are some hard costs involved, and it's just a little bit easier if we have a bit of financial stuff. Plus, you get the bonus contents. So that's at patreon.com/It's a Conspiracy. Yay. Okay. All right. Now, Charlie,
Yep.
with a yes or no, can you tell me if you've heard of these 3 2018 theories? Okay. Number 1, Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari is a clone.
Is he the one that keeps emailing me saying that he's got a bunch of money?
There's probably a lot of people emailing you about that. Yeah, no. Number 2, energy-directed weapons cause forest fires.
No.
Okay. Number 3, the Gatwick drone patrol.
No.
Okay. Theory number 1, Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari is a clone.
Remote override engaged? No! Yes! Bypassing override! I am alive! Hello?
Nigeria's president Muhammadu Buhari was elected president in 2015 during a scandal-riddled election.
Really? Are there any other kinds?
I know.
But I believe this one was like super.
Yeah, the government came in, seized all the results. He came out and he was like, I publicly deny the claims that I have been that I died and was replaced by a lookalike clone.
And I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
And that's what a clone would say, right? Yeah. I'm not a clone and I didn't have sex with that woman. Yeah. The theory is that this clone, apparently a man named Jubril from Sudan.
But this is the clone's name?
This is the clone's name. Jubril from Sudan took over after Buhari died of an unexplained illness in the UK or was murdered. The clone is not only identical in appearance. This is amazing. Okay, so he's not only identical in appearance, voice, and mannerisms, but familiar with Buhari's legendary command of knives, guns, and hand-to-hand combat. So
He's the Paul McCartney of African presidents.
It's unreal. Yeah. Like they found a clone who happens to be like a musical genius as well. Yeah. That's just, yeah. So like, how is your hand-to-hand combat? And like, that's like, I'll show you how my hand-to-hand combat is. Rip your heart out of your chest. Caliban.
Don't ever question us.
Yeah, no, totally. Do you feel in control? The opposition parties in Nigeria have seized on this theory and explained that they demand proof that Buhari is still alive and fit to lead. After all, a clone may look the part, but it's all about qualifications. So that's their. they're like, it's fine if we're gonna have a clone. It's fine. Just is this clone fit to lead?
Everybody was cool with it as
clone.
long as he could kill somebody, right?
Sure. That's not crazy.
No, that's not crazy at all. Yeah. No. Well, we
been
can't get into evidence or into opinions.
No,
Or
but
maybe we can.
But what you're saying is like it could have been his like twin sister, but as long as she can kill just as good as he does.
As long as she's fit for hand-to-hand combat and like, you know, whatever real estate law, like apparently
We'll
that's-
look past it.
Yeah.
You're the same person.
No solid evidence has been presented for the imposter theory, but videos making the claim have been viewed hundreds of thousands of times on YouTube and Facebook. You guys might have seen this. This was on Facebook. And I actually shared it to the Facebook page a little while ago where he was at the UN and he's like, I'm not a clone. And everyone's burst out laughing. And he's like, I'm not joking.
Guys,
I'm not
I'm
a clone.
serious.
And people are like, that's what a clone would say.
I mean,
I think I remember when you posted that.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. So that was at the recent UN conference in Poland. And the quote is, it's the real me. I assure you, I will soon celebrate my 76th birthday and I will still go strong and I will kill every one of you. He didn't actually say that. One of the questions that came up today in the meeting with the Nigerians was the issue of whether I've been cloned or not. These ignorant rumors are not surprising. When I was away on medical vacation last year, a lot of people hoped I was dead.
He was away on medical vacation.
Medical vacation, he called it. Yeah,
I mean, I've seen
I know
the early work of Marvel, their movie universe.
totally.
Well said.
Getting how
fixed.
this works.
Yep.
A spokesperson for the president said a Nigerian citizen at Sunday's meeting in Krakow asked Mr. Buhari directly if he was the real president or the much talked about Jubril from Sudan. Yeah, that's a great Jubril from Sudan.
Jubril?
I am
Is there-
Jubril from
I don't know
Sudan.
why they don't just, wait to catch him off guard, like he's in the middle of eating some soup or something, and then somebody goes, Jabril? And just see if he turns around.
Yes.
He's like, yes. Oh, shit.
It caught me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the whole spit take.
That's
kinda
the way you
deal.
get him.
Is
Yeah,
there
totally.
a family up there in Sudan being like this guy is from our family is missing?
They're like, where did Jubril go? Jubril was here. He looks exactly like the Nigerian president.
Or is it or their like whole family? Do like
Come
their
back, Jill.
does his whole family just be like, yeah, he's gone. Fuck, let's forget him.
Man, they probably showed up with a dump truck full of money, and they're like, here you go. You need to pretend to be this guy, become a master at judo, or just look really threatening. Hold up your hands.
Oh, so he
You
could
know?
be Putin at the same time.
Well,
He
he
could
said
be
he's
putting it on.
legendary, legendary hand-to-hand combat. But that's just it. If the reputation precedes you, it's like on The Simpsons where Bart's like, oh, I've been learning these techniques, and he's like, Lisa, go change the channel, and she doesn't do it. And he's like, meow, and he starts making that weird like hang loose sign, and she's like, oh, don't hurt me. So if they're like, are you a legendary hand-to-hand combatant? And he's like, do you want to find out?
Well, I mean,
You know.
to quote Ghostbusters, if somebody asks you if you're a god, you say yes.
Okay, energy directed laser beams.
Wait, no, that was
That's the end of it,
We
eh?
ended one.
That's the end of
Jabril.
it. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
shit.
Jabril from Sudan.
Oops, sorry, Jabril.
Yep. So I
Jabril
don't know.
from the block.
But look at the rocks he's got. Yeah, no, that's the Nigerian president is a clone. All right, number 2 theory is the energy directed forest fires. A conspiracy theory involving lasers from space,
Frickin' lasers.
which is pretty much the coolest thing I've ever heard. Lasers in space.
Laser beam.
Wow, that's the safest place to have lasers.
To have lasers
in space.
Yeah. It involves the government and the catastrophic. And this is the title. I didn't know it was called this, but they call it the campfire in California.
I think they should have named him Bernie.
Good old burn.
Yeah,
Bernie fire. Bernie the fire. I mean, like the way they name hurricanes.
they should. Yeah, just
Yeah.
alphabetically. How do they do that? It's like a boy and then it's a girl. Is
Yeah,
that
and then
how-
it goes, alphabetically, ABC.
alphabetically. Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the last hurricane?
Hurricane Bernie.
Was there a Helena or something like that?
There's been a Helena.
That doesn't seem like it was going in alphabetical order then.
No, it does.
Sorry, no, I'm curious now.
No, well, let's look her up. This is the first looking something up during the podcast. What happened to the rule?
I got a little bit of Wi-Fi down here in the
What?
man cave.
No.
Just a trickle.
Just wait until we.
I see, it's
edit
nice,
this out.
yeah. The machine gun bullet holes are all covered up. Nice fresh coat of paint.
Hey Andrew, thanks for editing this out of this episode. Little chat for you later, man. Yeah. Thanks for the beer.
Okay, so I found
Smiles.
hurricane names for 2018 are out. Are you on the list? Is the name of when the Atlantic hurricane season starts, June 1st, the sequence of names for 2018 will be Alberto, Beryl, Chris, Debbie, Ernesto,
okay.
Florence, Gordon, Helena.
Gordon.
Okay, so like
Hurricane Gordon.
so from like at the beginning of every year,
I guess
start,
they restart
yeah,
at the beginning of the year, I guess.
that makes sense.
I wonder if they ever get to like Hurricane, Yasmin.
Zelma.
Yeah, Hurricane Selma.
Hurricane Zeke is
Yeah.
tearing up the coast.
Oof.
That's the more you know.
Yeah. So, anyways, thousands of
Makes me look like
very
an asshole.
like serious YouTube detectives suggested the fires were started by a directed energy weapon, e.g., a laser. Now, these lasers were deployed by a number of reasons, including to distract Americans from the multiple mass killings last year, to push the myth of climate change, to dispute the myth of climate change, to destroy evidence of FEMA camps, and to test out the much-touted Space Force. Laser weapons systems are being developed by companies like Lockheed Martin, primarily for missile and drone defense. I'm sure it's just for defense, and that's pretty sweet, with plans to equip certain military planes for peace with the system, but all involved in development claim nothing functional exists currently and likely won't until the late 2020s. So they're like, there's no lasers right now.
And it likely won't until we're ready to tell you about it.
Yeah, until we're ready to tell you about it. Until 2028.
2028?
Yeah, no, well,
Otherwise,
the late 2020s.
don't worry about it.
That didn't stop a bunch of YouTube warriors from showing a series of bizarre images that do seemingly show bolts of light coming from the sky and landing in a wooded area. And I've written here, let's come back to this, it's opinion time.
It's opinion time, it's opinion time. Everybody, yeah, it's opinion time. It's opinion time, it's opinion time. Everybody, yeah, it's opinion time.
I don't know if we're doing opinion time today.
I think let's just lay it all out on the table
cool.
Yeah,
here.
lay it
We'll
out.
stick these pictures in
Okay,
there.
perfect.
Okay,
I believe
so-
that's called lightning.
lightning. Yeah. Okay, so
It's not a laser. It's a really crooked laser that comes down in real brief flashes.
this is it. Actually, I'll tell you what. If you want to just call this up on the old Google box on the computers,
I'm a Googler.
can you give it a googs?
this
Yeah.
tweet.
Okay, I've seen this.
Okay. First of all, here,
Those
let me
are called
just, let me
rainbows.
just say me a couple things here. So, okay. The first image, and we'll include these in the episode description. There's one here on the left, and it shows like a straight up laser beam coming from the sky, shooting like a drill into the ground. There's all this smoke coming out, and people are like, "Look, that's what caused the California forest fire," and that's the SpaceX rocket launching from the Vandenberg Air Force Base in California this summer. So that's a rocket shooting up. That's why it looks like that.
That's Elon Musk.
Yeah, it's like, and people are like, "Oh, it's a laser." The image on the top right is a controlled flare off. So you guys are looking at it. Looks like a little explosion. Again, it's like a diagonal angle from a refinery in Ohio this January, and was due to a compressor problem. They said at the same time, this beam of light. They said, and if you look at it, it makes perfect sense. It was intense heat going straight up, so it was light reflecting off of ice crystals at like a snap moment. Like someone had a super fast camera when they were taking the picture, and that's what that's from. The last picture here, it's the one on the bottom right, and it looks like just like almost like a protractor just coming out of the sky, just shooting straight down and like kicking off a bunch of dust and crap. The strange line on the photo seems to be nothing more than the sort of streak on a camera lens, as this video explains. The sun is in the picture, so it might not be a lens flare as we're used to, but it's it could be
It's a reflection of whatever oxygen and water is there.
yeah, like totally. If there's
The camera happens to be catching it at that one.
that's right. So there could be a lot of smoke that you're not seeing in the picture, and then the light's going through the picture at that, and so it looks like there's a laser, but it's actually just a bit of light going through the smoke that is otherwise not visible in the picture. Yeah. So they're like,
The Hubble telescope is a fucking laser, man.
yeah. Well, this is the space arm, the Mir space station. They're like, oh, it's a laser. It's just a big laser.
They've been lying to you.
So yeah, and like, look at these pictures. It's pretty cool. It's like pretty Independence Day, but
Yeah, that's not a laser.
the first one, the one that's the Air Force, the shuttle, the rocket launch. Sorry.
Does a SpaceX launch?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
straight up looks like in the new Star Trek when they have like that giant drill that's like drilling into the center of the planet.
That's kind of where I was going to
Yeah,
go.
and they do the space jump and it goes down. It looks just like that. Yep. Oh, moratorium on Star Trek.
Oh boy.
No, I was about to say, anybody else got something to say about Star Trek?
Yeah, what else do you
I
guys?
know,
Do you guys ever see that?
No, never.
Star Trek?
See what? We're not allowed to talk about it anymore. So yeah, laser weapons, like I said, they are being developed by companies for defense, which like there's no way. But
For defense.
yeah, but this forest fire was not started by lasers.
Oh, it's not
from
a
space.
laser. It's a fucking magnifying glass.
Yeah. But either way, it's, like whatever started that forest fire, it wasn't a
Yeah, you know what it was?
Space.
People who didn't properly take care of their campfires.
Agreed.
Hard to say, man.
Agreed.
Yeah. Apparently the one up in Fort Mac was
Was a cigarette.
cigarette butt. That's what is one of the theories. Yeah. So that's all it takes in these dry conditions. It doesn't take a laser from space. It takes some idiot throwing a dart into some dry
it's
grass.
the most Edmonton thing you can do.
Yeah. Taking a risk. All right. We talked about these earlier. The Terminator, whatever they're called, the grabber, hunter grabbers,
Hunter grabbers.
the grabber
The hunter
predators,
killers?
The hunter
Hunter
killers. Is that what they're called?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
HKs.
Hunter killers.
HKs.
So the Gatwick Drone Patrol hunter killers. This just happened the other day.
Do they have prosthetic skin?
Have you ever seen okay, so my nephews are a little bit older now, and one of them showed me a comic a little while ago, and I haven't read X-Men in a long time. There's an X-Man, an X-person called Skin. Have you guys ever heard
Oh,
of
yeah.
it?
Yeah, he came around in the 90s.
Yeah, and
He's all gray, right?
his power is he just has like a lot of extra skin that he does stuff with.
Yeah, he was part of Generation X, I believe.
Oh, that is disgusting.
I don't remember this guy.
Like, piss off with that secret power. That's just gross. Like, I know the X-Men are all about gross stuff, but like, ugh.
Whoa, what do you know?
That's not all gross stuff.
But
That's
no, okay.
gross.
You're intolerant.
That's so gross.
Actually, Charlie might know better than I am. What do they call the X-Men that like lived in the subway?
The Morlocks.
Morlocks, yeah.
Thank you. Those were the gross ones.
There was a lot of gross Morlocks, and there was like the leader of them. No, not the leader. The guy who like absorbed other people's powers.
Was it Caliban?
Caliban, yeah.
Caliban didn't absorb people's powers. He could
I think-
sense other mutants.
I thought he canceled out your powers when you were around him.
No, there were two little kids. One was called Leech. I can't remember what the other one was called.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And when they were hanging out, one of them totally canceled out powers, I think.
Yeah. And I stopped reading comics a long time ago. But anyways, that
Caliban, from what I remember, just could sense other mutants when they were around.
okay. So the Gatwick Drone Patrol. That sounds like a fun boy band.
It sounds more like an oi punk band. Drone Patrol.
This happened just the other day. This is, in my opinion, one of the strangest stories of 2018. I don't know if you guys missed it or not. It's just like days ago.
I miss most things.
Just.
Well, if it was days ago, then I definitely missed it.
Okay. Around 1,000 flights. Okay. So the Gatwick Drone Patrol, blah, 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 blah. Around 1,000 flights were canceled to and from London's Gatwick Airport between December 19th and 21st, just in time for Christmas in foggy London town. After multiple reports of drones hovering near the airport, there was 67 reports, in fact. Gatwick is the second busiest airport in Britain and the eighth busiest in Europe. It handles like 45 million people in 2017. And this is the airport. It loads of people, but it only has one runway. So a bunch of drones flew in and messed everything up.
That's what happens when you get same day shipping with Amazon.
So the reports were taken very seriously as they have a really good idea of what would happen if a plane hit even a small drone midair.
What?
So they have a scientific computer simulation of what would happen if a plane was landing or taking off and hit a small drone, even a small one.
Yeah.
Never mind if it got sucked in the engine or whatever.
Yeah, like a goose.
Like a goose,
Or a
but
duck.
a robot that was controlled by someone
robot duck.
instead of a duck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the airport offered £50,000 for information that would lead to conviction of the people involved.
That's too heavy. You can't put that on a plane.
Shortly after, a couple were arrested. These two people were named and shamed on the front pages of the national press. I'll include this in the episode description. One of the lines is like, "Are these the morons that bloody ruined Christmas?" And it's a picture of these two people like smiling at each other. And apparently they were
Obviously, it was that.
Probably
They were
just
released-
going on holiday.
they were released the next day.
Yeah.
I did have a question for you earlier
Sure.
that had to do with ducks on a plane, and now I'm no longer asking you that goddamn
All
question.
right. So and then all of a sudden, one of the officers involved was like, look, there's a really good chance that this this drone didn't exist. He's like, there was no bloody drone patrol at all. Right. And then police told BBC News, they were like, we cannot discount the possibility that there may have been no drone at all. Despite the hundreds of thousands of people at Gatwick during those days, including officers and airline staff, as well as passengers.
Oh, hold on.
No footage of the drone was obtained by police.
No one took a picture of the drone? Nobody pulled out theirs. That's hard to believe.
140,000 people
in an era
stuck at
like
the airport
this.
and on the airplanes.
And nobody's
taking a photo
well,
of being like,
well,
what the fuck is this bullshit?
No,
holding me back?
none was released.
Nobody was like, hey, that's my that's probably my package.
Somebody might have got a picture of the drone.
Oh, it's just a cover-up.
And then, like, ice pick in the neck. Thank you very much, Mr. Lanster.
Pretty much anything, airplanes, airport, I'm thinking lost. Sorry, guys.
Or you said ice pick in the neck. That made me go X-Files.
Yeah, totally. So nobody saw it. And then Detective... Ooh, listen to this name. Detective Chief Superintendent, like that just sounds.
That's
like
not a name.
He does everything. That's his title. Detective Chief Superintendent Jason Tingley,
Chief, if you're buddies,
told, we are interviewing those who have reported the sightings, are carrying out extensive house-to-house inquiries, and carrying out a forensic examination of. And then it trails off. A damaged drone was found near the perimeter of the airport. However, there is always a possibility that the drones were a mistake. So they're like, we haven't seen anything. We haven't found anybody. Oh, sure, there was that busted up drone we found in the parking lot. But that might have nothing to do with it. Yeah.
That wasn't the one.
And the casual revelation that the drone may not be real at all was a lot. And there was people tweeting in some really great stuff. I'm just going to read a couple of these tweets. One guy says, maybe the drone was in our hearts all along.
Another person said, these are not the drones you're looking for.
That's exactly what this is. A straight up Men in Black thing. The real drone was the friends we made along the way. It's so funny. Okay, so now this is it. So the minute this happened, all of a sudden conspiracy theorists around the planet are like, what the hell? Because they're flying, like, there's a robot at the airport stopping planes from landing and everything. And so they're like, okay, is the government wargaming? So they were practicing, like, what would happen if they take one of the busiest days of the year right before Christmas, and they're like, what if there was a terrorist attack? And they try it out. Especially with Brexit reaching its whatever's going to happen. They're like, well, we better figure this out because we don't have the EU they might not have the EU to rely on. Then there's this weird thing where the media was reporting like, oh, the one police officer said there weren't any drones. Maybe there weren't any drones. And everyone's like, how can there be 140,000 people stuck at the airport and nobody saw anything? Yeah. And all those people showed up with ice pick wounds in their necks and were dead and we couldn't find their phones. Now, amazingly, at the same time, there's a couple things also happening that are very, very suspicious. So I don't know if you guys heard about this, but Theresa May was going through she's the British Prime Minister. She's going through a non-confidence vote, like
right now,
right then, that day. Like this is in the morning of the 20th. I think the vote went through on the 19th.
Did she lose?
She's still the Prime Minister. So her party was like, you're in like bread and butter, my wee lass. And then another thing happened that was very, very odd. The day that these happy little robots were flying around the airport, a French construction firm agreed to buy a majority stake in Gatwick for £2.9 billion. Try fitting that on a plane, huh? You son of a bitch.
There it is. So this so what this sounds like to
sold
me,
majority stake that day.
Yeah, but for me, that's like somebody go dust off the robots from Batteries Not Included. We need a big distraction.
Well, I'm kind of thinking like a Red Dwarf.
It's just a distraction.
It's insanity.
It's just like we gotta look at my hand over here. Look at my hand over here. You know.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Now this is where my first thought was, okay, why don't they just shoot this thing down like Han Solo style? There's the flying assassin droid. Kablam! Yeah. Get Chewie to stick his head up, and when he goes after him, he's lucky Chewie didn't get killed. Every time I see that, I'm like, Han, you son of a bitch. That Wookiee has been nothing but good to you.
They knew what they were doing.
And, he could have been killed.
Professionals.
Jeez, every time. A little sloppy is all I'm saying. And I like it a little sloppy. You know what I mean? But anyway, so I was like, why don't they just shoot it down? And so this was the thing. They're like, apparently there's a rule in the UK where you can't have your bloody drone within 5 kilometers of an airport.
I mean, that's sensible.
That is
100% fucking sensible.
Yeah. And that got changed to, you can't have your bloody drone within 1 kilometer of the airport. So
1 kilometer now.
1 kilometer now.
So they went to metric.
Yeah.
Get the drone out of here.
Yo, please do. And I was like, why don't they shoot it down? Why don't they throw a net around it? Why doesn't somebody like go Batman style, jump from a tall building, land on it, take out a batarang, crack?
Or Spider-Man style.
Yeah,
You can
or
just web
Spider-Man
them up
style.
and get them out of
or
there.
Or skin style. Why doesn't someone pull a bunch of skin from the folds of their neck and wrap this thing up?
Oh, Angelo.
Now,
His name is Angelo?
His name was Angelo. Yeah.
What was his last name?
Espinoza. Monster.
Oh, Angelo Espinosa.
yeah, just too much skin. Now, this was where
If you're out there, we love you.
I read this. I looked into this a little bit, and I was like, hey, this has to be mentioned. Like, it would be wrong of me on every level to not include this. So this has been a serious problem where they're like, what would happen if a drone came to the airport and like started shooting people and
bought a
taking out
ticket, wanted to go to Hawaii.
and is like taking everybody out, and the police and the army and everybody else doesn't know what to do. So there's a Dutch firm who it's the Dutch. They have been training eagles to attack drones. They've got this ready to go. They're like, assemble Eagle Squadron, fly. And they're like,
Why don't they just have their own drones that they can just go and...
that's the thing, because that's once you have drones in there.
Does that seem too literal to you?
You can't have like drones in no-fly zones, even if they're attacking other drones.
That makes no sense, though.
Well, because we're in an era of cyberjacking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that happens in
Yeah,
a
okay.
masturbatorium all the time. Cyberjacking.
That's the thought. They're like, okay, we throw in one drone, and then the army throws in all their mega drones, and the terrorists have the capability, they not to build the drones, but whatever drones enter a certain area, all of a sudden are under their control. So it's like, now we have your military grade drones, and it's game over.
So what you're saying is that the military was too lazy to come up with the technology to take over that person.
This is the thing. Okay, well, I kind of skipped over this because I wanted to get to the Eagles thing, which is amazing.
But this
and I
is-
can't
no,
believe
this-
you guys don't think that's cool.
No, you know what? I think
do.
that those
I
guys...
think this is awesome,
It was
but
the-
at the
is
same
the
time, I'm
Dutch?
kind
The Dutch Eagles.
The Dutch are so far ahead of us in so many ways.
In every way. In every way.
Yeah.
Unless you try to put together one of their coffee tables.
Yeah, you just have to be smart enough.
Ugh.
No,
bloody Dutch and their shit coffee
I am all on board with these Eagles. This
Where are you
whole
getting
Eagles
Dutch
thing,
coffee
but,
tables?
Seriously,
from IKEA.
That's Swedish.
Whatever. It's all the same place. Sorry.
That's ignorant.
Sorry.
that's ignorant.
Sorry, Dutchman. Yeah.
By the way, I love this whole Eagles thing, but at the same time, you guys are just being lazy on that whole technology of taking over other people's drones.
Okay, there is one other part of this.
Drones can get hacked. Eagles can't get hacked.
Yeah, Eagles can't
That's
get
what I
hacked.
just said.
That's the whole point. Apparently, the city of London, they were like, look, we'll let the local police handle this, even though it was a 3-day, 140,000 people grounded by this. And people were like, get the army in here. And they're like, oh, we don't need the army. It's like there's robots flying around at the airport.
No. Don't call the army because then the
Yeah.
army's going to come over here and they're going to want to be all in charge.
It's a little strange.
Yeah, no.
Okay, but
I
it
should have called the army.
Did at one point they call it like a UFO and not like an alien UFO, but just an unidentified flying object UFO?
They probably would have because it would have been a drone, so it wouldn't have been an unidentified flying object.
Well, they
But
identified
But
it.
no, but
But
they
if they'd
couldn't
said
say
that-
whether it was a drone or not.
Yeah, apparently they could because they're like, it's a bloody drone.
Oh, okay.
It's a
It's
drone.
coming in. It's making that little. But and the one guy's like, I can't tell where the drone's being piloted from, and it's like, no, you can't. That's
That's
whole
not how it works, bro.
threat. Yeah, man. Like the guy, the person could be within 10 kilometers,
Well, you
or
get
it
it.
could be on the other side of the world with like a camera and an Xbox controller. Like,
Are drones that powerful now? From the
who
other
knows?
side of the world?
There's no legislation. Nobody knows. Like, it's crazy. And if somebody's smart enough to land a little spaceship on a comet flying through space, the thought of
Yeah.
somebody being
Oh, man,
smart
we
enough,
did
It's like
that,
the
yeah,
movie,
I know.
Armageddon.
just like the movie Armageddon,
Yeah.
the documentary Armageddon.
The historical documents, yes.
Historical
So
documentary.
if someone's smart enough to do that, then there's definitely going to be people who are like, I'm in a cave in whatever, and doing it from super far away at a bunker in Antarctica.
I was going to say, I want you to say somewhere so I can call you racist again.
I know, totally. Waiting for me to... That's because he hates those bloody Scandinavians.
So I can call you. I've been waiting for this. Jeez.
Waiting for it.
Jesus.
Say it's in Mexico, Andrew. I dare you.
Anyways, the Gatwick thing is super
to his
insane.
skin,
It's
doesn't it?
it's super cool, but it's like, I mean, that was today. We're recording this on Thursday, December 27th. That was a week ago today, and it's great. This is one of those theories I'm going to be thinking about this for like the rest of my life, because I think, and I don't mean to get into like scary ass whatever, but it is going to happen soon where there's a terrorist attack involving drones, and they're like, we have no idea who did this, and the robots came in and just killed everybody, and we all had a laugh, and now we're scared.
The scariest thing, sorry, interrupt. Have you guys ever watched Black Mirror? Do you remember the first episode of Black Mirror? Where it was the British Prime Minister
with the
who
pig.
was blackmailed to have sex with a pig?
Yeah.
Okay, that is the scariest thing for me. Not that I'm scared or whatever, that someone's going to do that to me.
Blackmail me,
But,
I'll
like,
tell you that much.
No. But no, like to actually to watch that episode and like in your mind be like, how the fuck has this not happened yet?
Yeah, totally.
This is the most realistic thing that I've seen off this
Absolutely.
show where I was like,
Most of that show,
Fuck, man.
most of that show is like that for me. Yeah.
And that's something like that is around the corner, and you're absolutely right.
So once just say you catch the drone, then are you able to, figure it out where it's being operated from?
Well, have you guys seen Incredibles 2?
No.
Okay, this is a major plot point. Spoilers for Incredibles 2.
No worries.
You can stop the person who is committing the crime, but the person controlling the person behind the scenes, the kingpin, if you will, the Godfather, the Darth Vader, because it's all about who's pulling the strings. Mm-hmm. And in this case, literally, it's like you can get your skin fold and wrap that thing up and shut it down. But the guy who's in a cave in Antarctica is just going to shoot at another one.
Yeah, but no, that's what I'm asking. Is like,
That's when you get your Dutch Eagles.
If you catch the drone, is it able to find out, where it's being?
Like if you hold it down, you're like, talk!
Tell me what. Who controls?
I came from Antarctica. Please don't hurt my children.
it's a carrier
Yeah.
pigeon, You
Totally.
just follow that motherfucker back.
Maybe there's
also,
a way.
are you throwing out hints as to who the bad guy is in Incredibles 2?
It's
No,
Darth
Incredibles 2. Yeah, sure, it's Darth Vader in Incredibles 2. We'll say that. That's a great
Cold,
movie.
it was dark,
Loved
he's
it.
in
Yeah.
Antarctica. Yeah,
Incredibles 2 is on par with the first one. I think I saw the first one or not, but
I don't think I have actually.
Oh, no, I have. Yeah.
it's
so good.
Animated classic.
Here it's incredible.
It is Incredibles. So yeah, okay. We are drinking
Oh yeah.
Yellowhead?
season
Saison.
Saison
Tejon, which
Zombie beer.
zombie beer.
Zombier. That's Yellowhead Brewery, pioneers of prairie beers.
So, anyways, that's
Now what, Andrew?
that's our little countdown of the conspiracy theories from 2018. And not necessarily three of the best, but three of the that really stuck out to me that I was like, oh, look at that. That's so much fun.
These three are climbing the charts.
Yep, the climbing the charts. We'll have a chin wag about it. A chin wagon. The beers that we've been trying.
I've secretly changed the microphone cover from red to pink. Let's see if Andrew notices.
Okay, well, speaking of laughters,
What are we doing?
We are our round the world famous segment of what are we drinking? I don't think we've ever called it that on the podcast.
What are we drinking?
I've always thrown it into the notes I have here. As,
But you never called it out loud.
I never said it. Well, I've usually said, "What are we drinking here?" or "What we are drinking."
What are we drinking?
Totally. That's
the theme.
That could be the new theme.
I like it.
Just to
Look for it next season. What are we drinking?
so episode number 1, we had ourselves a nice snappy raspberry wheat ale
Raspberry.
Phillips from the Phillips Brewery.
Phillips, man.
Classic, in my opinion.
Have you had? Yeah,
I've
they're so
I've,
good.
I've had it before. Yeah,
You have had it.
nailed it.
Okay. So that was that one. And then number 2, we had episode 2, we had the Sin Bin Red Ale from Medicine Hat Brewing Company.
Do you remember it?
That was when I showed up with them in a bag and Charlie's like, did you bring a 6-pack of
Coca-Cola.
some colas? And I was like, no, because, I don't want to be up all night. Number 3, and I did like this beer, especially the can. I'm going to go ahead and give this one a preemptive can award.
Oh, a canny.
So
you're going to give him a canny.
Hopbot from Hop City Brewing. That had the best can.
Hey, nice can.
3.5. Sorry,
I don't think
episode.
you can say that anymore. Just,
Our Halloween Spooktacular
Be
was
careful.
the Abbey Lane. From Edgerton.
It's in my beer.
Edgerton.
Edgerton. And then we
continue drinking on episode 4.
Abbey Lane in the next episode. So we'll just say we're at 4 so far. Number
Remembrance Day.
Remembrance Day.
We drank Ruby's Tears.
You drank Ruby's Tears.
Are you sure you didn't drink your own after those poppy seeds?
Oh man, the tears were flowing.
We'll never forget the taste.
Parallel
Poppy
49
seeds and
Brewing.
Ruby Tears.
I was telling the guys earlier, I had a piece of coffee cake the other day, and there was a little bit of poppy seeds in there, and I was like, so I've got a
crazy.
little PTSD. I'm
Crazy.
like, it's gone now.
I made
Like,
more of a mess than you did, and I'm fine.
I know, man, but yeah.
Yeah, but you sounded better when you did it.
Yeah, ultimately, I ingested, and it was bubbling up
Yeah,
for
that's
days.
the thing. They came out of me.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Our 6th was our Blue Buck
Blue Buck
from the Phillips
That's
Brewery
also
again.
Phillips. That was
That was
delightful.
delicious.
And then number 7 was the Hive Bomber from Analog Brewing.
That is my favorite.
That's it, man.
Hive
That's it
Bombers
for me too.
Yeah.
Like that's my next tier. That's my summer beer.
So what would you say, Greg? What are your top 3 on here? Do you want to? I can give you
Oh
my
no! I'll say Die Bomber.
Hive Bomber.
Hive Bomber.
Hive Bomber. Sorry. And then I'm gonna have to go with the
So Hive Bomber was your favorite?
Hive Bomber was my absolute favorite. And then I have to go Wild Rose.
Oh, that's good.
The one that you guys had in the first episode.
Wait, that was Raspberry Wheat Ale.
Raspberry
Oh,
Wheat
that's
Ale?
called Wild Rose.
It's from the brewery. Wild Rose is it not.
No, it's from the Phillips Brewery.
Phillips.
Phillips. Oh, what?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I wasn't here for that episode.
We'll say it's the
I
raspberry
get a
one.
pass on that one.
That's true. But you like the raspberry wheat
You said it
ale.
was. You said it was very good.
It was very delicious. Yeah. And then I'm gonna have to go back to that. What was it? Hornet's Nest? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So what was your number 3 then? Was it the?
No, I don't have a number 3.
You don't have a number 3?
I literally couldn't choose between those two. Those ones were the best.
Okay. The Bam Bam was great too. Okay, Charlie, what?
I'm gonna say Hive Bomber.
That's your number 1.
Cleaned up in a number 1, but also got my Canny Award for this year.
My goodness.
Yeah, that was delightful. I had
Yeah.
another one at Christmas. Oh, still so good. It
Still so
doesn't
good.
even taste like beer. It just tastes like honey.
Dude, I think I had a dream about it.
Tastes like honey.
Like my first sip was amazing.
Oh, it's good stuff.
And then
What was
I think,
number 2?
I think Blue Buck is number 2.
Yep.
And then I'm going to hop back on the Phillips Brewery because that's been my jam all year. I've been down with Phillips, man.
Just a big moi bien.
So yay, Phillips
Yeah.
Brewery.
I'm gonna give my number 1 to. Well, first off, I'm gonna give you guys a little story. Let's story time.
Story time.
Yeah, gather around. So I couldn't decide, and so I went and got myself a quartet of the Hive Bomber and Blue Buck. And I'm like,
4
what?
each?
Yeah, because
Four
they
each.
sell them in 4s.
They do. They sell them in 4s, yeah.
And I was like, I'm gonna give these guys another try. I didn't drink all 8, but I had one of each, and I gotta say, Blue Buck just remained number 1.
Yeah?
Hive Bomber was good, but the thing that got me was like one Hive. I could drink Blue Buck all night, be like, oh, I'm loving it. Hive Bomber for me, it was like one and done. It might win, but who drinks one beer and they're like, well, that's it for me. Off to bed. I got
Responsible
soccer
people,
practice in the
Andrew.
Yeah, I
morning.
was gonna
Yeah.
say like
Responsible
Yeah.
folk.
non-alcoholics.
But if you're like, I'm gonna have 2 or 3, then I would challenge you guys. Just something to consider. If you drink 2 or 3 Hive Bombers, by the end of it, you'd be like, and I didn't. I only drank 1, but I drank 2 Blue Bucks, and I'm like, this is even better than the first.
You would literally be buzzing around.
You'd be buzzing because it's like a bee. So I would give my number 1 to Blue Buck. I'd give my number 1 to Hive Bomber. Or sorry, I'd give my number 1 to Blue Buck, my number 2 to Hive Bomber,
Hornet's Nest.
and the Hornet's Nest is Greg's inexplicably calling it. And I would give my number 3 to Abbey Lane,
Abbey Lane.
which is the one that Greg bought from the Tractor Factory.
From Edgerton.
Yeah, Edgerton.
Good old Tractor Factor.
Yeah,
That was actually that was not bad beer as well.
they were just killing it.
Look, there was no beer this season or this part of the season that I had tried and was like, well, that's shit.
Au contraire.
No, absolutely.
Which one?
Hotbot.
You didn't like Hotbot.
I did not like Hotbot.
But you love the bottle.
I love the bottle. The bottle. Did you see the bottle?
Yeah, I was there.
Oh,
that was my first episode.
Was it your first one? Okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was if we did that the one before you came or not.
No, that was my first episode.
Because Hotbot, I love the bottle, and I'm loving this, and I'm loving the bottle and hating the taste.
No, well,
There's a commercial right there. Yeah.
Love the bottle, hate the taste.
what is it? What is it? 2 episodes now where I disowned IPAs.
That's true. That's true.
And I think that stemmed from your Hotbot
You've gotten
experience.
tough on that.
Yeah.
No, but it's just I've been let down so many times.
I've had my heart
It's
broken
like
so many
he keeps
times.
saying, man, we're going to go to the cabin. Dad's going to take me to the cabin. Then he doesn't show up because he's got a work meeting.
Wait,
right?
man.
you have a dad?
It's going to such sad places. It's the holidays.
Dad, just
Happy
I know
holidays.
you're out there. I love you. And, sorry.
Oh, we like to have a good time.
Yeah, we do. We have fun here. So yeah, and we've been doing this thing since August 1st, and it's been
Just since August.
it's been a labor of love. It's been fun. This is our 6th episode. It's our 6th episode. We've had
Dude, we're on episode 9.
3.
If you really counted it that way, I think
Yeah.
we're on episode
Right.
9.
We had
so
not
we had
counting
3
the
specials and
We're
6.
not.
Yeah.
The holiday specials. That's bonus content.
Yeah.
I got it.
Bonerous content.
Boners. Masturbatorium content.
Yeah, and Charlie had mentioned a couple of weeks ago. He was like, it'd be cool to like wrap up the year is like to do like a little coup unst yeah, and so like I don't know what these questions are going to be. I have no idea.
we
haven't fielded them. Yeah, and I
I
guess
think I sent Charlie my questions.
Yeah, I got it. Do you want to start?
No, you got it.
Because here.
start off.
No.
All right.
Ah, that's good.
All right. Question number 1.
Question number 1.
Andrew, if a ripple in time transported you to your 5-year-old body and your 5-year-old you to your adult body, what would be the first thing you did as a child, and what would child you do in your adult body?
Oh, the first thing I would do if I could go back to my 5-year-old
Yeah.
body, I would relish in all the Star Wars toys that I had as a kid, brand new, undestroyed. My brothers melted them all.
Or you just hide them all.
Yeah, I'd be like, they're all still there. I got my Boba Fett. I got my Bosk. Got my IG-88. They're all in great condition. I'm going to play with them all.
Skywalker with the
Yeah.
green lightsaber.
Oh, man, it'd be so great. Like, just going back to that time and you're like, I've got toys. I've got a floor. I'm just going to enjoy this and play with them. That'd be amazing. My 5-year-old body and myself now, that's an interesting... Or no, sorry, my 5-year-old mind in myself now.
No. 5-year-old you in your adult body.
It's a big situation, right?
Yeah.
It's a big situation.
But they're all you.
5-year-old you in
Yeah.
an adult body. I would probably constantly remind myself to keep my hands out of my crotch because that was a thing when I was a kid. And it's one thing for it's kind of cute when like a 5-year-old boy is like, I'm just kind of nervous, so I got my hands in my pants right now. But it's a whole other thing when you got a grown,
I don't think you know
grown
any
man.
better, though. If 5-year-old you is in your current
No,
body,
I knew at
then-
5.
Oh,
I knew at 5. I was like,
you knew
that was
this
like
was
my
wrong.
Anytime I was speaking or in
I
front
knew
of a
at
group,
5
I'd
this
be
was
like,
weird.
don't touch your crotch. Don't touch your crotch. Don't touch your crotch. Don't touch your crotch.
Matter of fact,
would
I
probably
caught you saying that earlier today.
Yeah, I'd be walking around. That's why my hands are always under the table when I'm recording this thing.
Don't touch your crotch.
So I'd probably be walking around nervous and being like, what's going on? And then people would be looking at me funny. The cops would show up, be like, we got a guy walking around touching himself.
Don't touch your crotch.
And I'd be like, oh, I was
Hot
trying to-"
water burn baby.
I'm 5 years old. Please don't. Please no.
Yeah, so yeah.
Question number 2. If you could ask one question and get a completely honest answer,
Ooh.
it doesn't matter who you ask, what question would you ask?
Oh. That's such a good question. That is so...
I really like you put this on me, and then I was like, "Fuck you! I got a
Jeez,
question
you guys.
for you."
Yeah, you really brought it home.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I think my question that if I could get an honest answer would be like, are you a good person? Like, explain.
Like Fred Rogers.
Yeah, like tell me why, and if the person had to respond yes or no, because it's weird how some people are like really good people who just can't quite get their head together to like make it appear that they're the good person that you know that they are after knowing them for a while. And then there's people who seem really cool on the outside but are actually like just wretched villains, and you're like, Yeah, and if they had to be, it'd be interesting to watch someone be that brutally honest with themselves. You know, someone come to terms with like,
Yeah, I think I'm great, but
person.
actually I'm really shitty.
Yeah, like if they had to realize that, you know what I mean, like that, and not in a cruel, sadistic kind of like I want to watch you suffer, but it would be interesting to watch that internal process, being like someone just sort of sorting it out in their head. Ooh,
Crazy.
that's a deep one.
Yeah, that was a deep one. Man, so now you know where I feel. Question number 3. Why have you chosen to start a podcast about conspiracy theories?
The reason I started was because it is fun to talk about conspiracy theories. So as you know, Greg and I've been thinking about doing this for a while, and initially I wanted to do it by myself, and I'm like, it'd be fun to like take like a flat earth theory, explain what the people believed, and then explain just that part, and don't necessarily inflict listeners with my opinion. And then Greg, you and I were sitting around the bar one night, and we're like just talking about this stuff, and I'm like, man, this conversation is so interesting, and people were like hanging out, and they're like, oh, that's cool, and they were kind of chiming in with like oh, that's what she said, and comments like that, and I
can't believe people actually believe us. You know, that was a big one.
They jumped in, and I was like, this conversation with respect and a little bit of research, but not too crazy, you know, not being worried about the heavy stuff, but also having like some beers, having a bit of humor. It's just so great. And hopefully people who want to know what the theory is that something is, they can listen in and be like, oh, I didn't know that's what flat earth people, or I mean, who knows what, I didn't know that's what the theory was with the Black Knight satellite.
JFK's car.
Yeah, right, totally. And that's one of the things, And because one of the things that's hard to find, it's easy to find someone who's going to shove their opinion down your throat, but it's hard to find something where it's like, this is just what they believe, and not color it with their opinion. Just be like, this is what they think. And then later on we're like, well, this is what we think about that.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of people that are like love to hear what it is, and then all of a sudden laugh their asses off at what we think.
Oh, I hope so.
In your opinion, out of all the conspiracies and stories, myths, legends, whatever that's out there, you've and have researched and have heard of, which hold the most truth and intrigues you the most?
Oh man, the only one that we presented that I'm like, that is 100% a cover up is the Fukushima nuclear reactor, the Japanese cover up.
Yeah,
I'm
this
like,
one for you.
100% that is a cover up. They're lying about what happened, and anyone with a brain in their head looking at it is like, there is something missing from this story.
I'm glad actually that this is the one you brought up, because when you sent me that message earlier today, I laughed my ass off. But at the same time, I was like, "Oh man, it's so true."
So there's this meme that's going around right now. It's pretty funny, and this guy's like, did a Google review of Chernobyl. He's like, I can count how many times I've been to Chernobyl on one hand. 14. And it's like, that's so great.
Photo of like the one part of Chernobyl where like the elephant's foot is, and it's like just so concreted over, man. It's so funny.
Was I supposed to come up with questions too?
I think so.
Okay, good. I did. Like just right now while Greg was saying his. Like literally while Greg was doing his.
No, I did mine because I was like, fuck, I got to do this before I go to bed.
Well, I got the questions from the Irishman.
From the Irishman?
Yeah, from the Madman. And I was like, oh, I'll just read these ones. But then when,
we have to bleep out his name. Damn it.
I didn't say his last name.
Doesn't matter. He's just
Mr.
He shall not be named.
Can we call him Mr. Pink?
He who shall not be named.
Yeah.
Is that the right color for the Irish Madman? Wouldn't it be green, Mr. Green?
Dude, you have a pink microphone. You had a red one earlier.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know you had the red one.
The red one's always been over there.
Fucking with us right now.
He's doing it again. He's doing it again. And I'm like,
crazy.
Is that the...
Andrew, you're
oh, what?
Okay, so this is a good segue.
Anyway, Mr. Blee.
Mr. Green. No, we'll do Mr. Green's next. I'm going to do mine now. I literally wrote some while you were doing your questions, and this is how I did school when I was growing up.
Oh, me too.
So,
yeah. So thanks for putting me on the spot, by the way. You jackass. You had a good 2 minutes there with that one question.
Question 1: are you a believer? Do you believe in conspiracies? Do you believe in aliens, UFOs?
Okay, well
man,
that's like 2 levels. That's 2 questions. I'm open to theories. I'm open to the possibility of aliens, UFOs, blah blah blah. But I'm so skeptical of this because I've met people that have just believe in this stuff across the board, even when they cancel each other out.
You're Scully.
I guess I'm a Scully. Yeah,
You're not going to believe unless you see the hard facts.
Yeah, not
you see the hard,
not like season 1
throbbing
Scully
data.
Yeah, I do like a hard throbber, but like I guess the thing is like it's got to be reason. It's got to be like hard facts combined with like some things feel, and this sounds so ridiculous in an academic sense, like some things feel right, some things don't feel right, and like the correctness of some theories, you're like the facts don't necessarily point to this concretely, but like that feels right, you know, like
It's that hard throbber.
Yeah, well, like you know, for example, the Gatwick drone patrol, it was probably just some guy flying his drone around thinking it was funny. It probably wasn't a guy in a cave in Antarctica.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like
Probably Farmer Bill.
yeah, probably Farmer Bill just having a chuckle.
Just having a
You know,
fuck around.
Just a wee bit of scrumpy jack and a chuckle.
I got a 4-pack of drones.
Smoking some jazz cabbage and having a good time with the drone.
Jazz cabbage.
So the answer is you want to believe.
I want to believe, but I'm super guarded and skeptical of this stuff. And I don't consider that a weakness at all. I consider that key in that you can't, even if something sounds really cool, like lasers from space or the Black Knight satellite being sent there by like another dimension or whatever, that's super cool. But like reason, Occam's razor, all that stuff, all of it applied, you know, that kind of stuff. Yeah. I want to believe, but I'm skeptical. I guess that's a long way of saying
That's why Skinner paired us up, I think.
Skinner.
Yeah. Second question. Do you want to be more than friends?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Circle one.
I went to the same site.
1
for
plus
questions.
1. And yes, sirree, Bob.
I went to that same site.
All right. I'm going to wait till you finish your drink. Put it down.
Putting down.
Because this is a quick answer. No thinking.
Okay.
Favorite conspiracy, go.
Black Knight satellite.
Nice. Just
Yeah.
because of the name?
Probably just because of the name. It's just so rad. Everything about it. And the Monty Python connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, everything. I'm just like, that's just so awesome. It's endless. It's
That's
endless.
good.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Oh.
Question number 4. Are you an Anunnaki?
I'd love to answer that question, Charlie, but
I was going to say part B.
I'm taking
Would
my...
you tell us if you were?
I'd also love to answer that question, but I'm
Pants down.
forbade.
Question 3. Why do you always bring that heating rock to sit on every time you come over?
Because it's cold outside and my reptile blood is...
And you could tell that I've thoroughly researched these questions.
Thoroughly.
Here's my 5th and final question. Who would win in a fight, Razor Ramon or Hulk Hogan?
Oh, Razor Ramon, hands down.
Yeah,
Hulk Hogan is the most overrated, like, I'm using finger quotes, athlete.
Yeah, somebody's going to, one of these days, I'm going to teach you how to use finger quotes.
I'm a big fan of the, Charlie, it's hard in the audio medium, but when you're going to make a quote on something and you want to appear extra sassy, so just now I'm like, Hulk Hogan, so if I put my right hand up, so finger, Hulk Hogan, left hand, finger, so like the quotations go on either side of the word. It's very unpleasant to look at, but it's really funny to do. You know, and it's one of those things where you're like, if you want to add a little extra sass, a little extra spice on your deviled eggs, on your fig peckers, that's a good way to do it. Yeah, no, Razor Ramon would just clean the floor with that scumbag.
Yeah, hey, yo. Yeah. Yeah.
Hulk Hogan.
Hey, Chico.
One more for the bad guys. All right, now we go on to the Irish madman's questions.
Oh, good Lord.
There's 10 of them.
10?
Yeah. So what's what happens when you give the Irish madman
when you ask him
a medium a way to, give his work?
Gave him some power.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not that we don't think Irish deserve power.
Yeah.
We're all about equality.
Also, there was a point where you said you don't think he existed. He exists.
He
just so you
exists.
know.
I was skeptical in the early
I
seasons.
exist.
I thought they might be Andrew doubling.
No,
We're Dublin.
I got a message.
Oh, yeah, the beer's kicking in. That's not that funny, but that's pretty good.
I got well, it wasn't a direct message. It was like one of those like mentions, but he like mentioned me on Twitter. Was like, I exist.
because he's listened to the podcast a couple times. Yeah, and he's hilarious. He's got a very dry sense of humor. He's a really funny guy. But
I believe it. I apologize. Next time I need you, Irish Madman, I will put an X in my window and shine a light through it, and then I hope you will meet me in the back alley and get me the documentation that I require.
Under the Boar's moon.
But for now, here's some questions from him. I'm not going to do an accent because that would be
very insulting.
Terrible.
Number 5.
Number 2. Due to the sheer volume of 80 movies references, do you ever think that you're accidentally making a 30-year-old pop culture podcast? Should you actually be making one about Star Trek or Highlander instead?
Oh, a Highlander podcast would be amazing. Just the first movie alone has years of comic ammunition in it. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
The short answer:
Highlander rules, and if you don't think so, then you need to go get yourself a Phillips head screwdriver and
do something
with it.
Question 3: which host is the most handsome?
Oh,
you're allowed to vote for yourself.
Am I allowed to vote for myself?
If he's not about to say it, I will. Charlie.
Sure, I'd bang Charlie. We'll say Charlie's the village bike of the podcast.
Oh yeah.
Question 5.
Crumpet.
Your bonus episodes seem to be mostly about force feeding your co-hosts until they throw up. Is this not off topic and or extremely cruel?
Yes. Okay. Well, I should have pointed this out earlier, and I don't know if it's obvious from listening to our specials, but I do have a streak of sadistic, part of my personality. So I think it's hilarious to just do things that people are uncomfortable with in a fashion where others are like ready to enjoy their uncomfortablishness first.
I would rather you take your pants off than feed me eggs, peanut butter, and cranberries. Just saying.
So there's just something so hilarious about someone being like, hey, let's talk about, poppy seeds, and then to be like force feed them poppy seeds in some gross way, like, and Charlie throwing up, without a doubt, that will make me laugh like once a week for the rest of my life.
It's the icing on the cake.
Oh, just so good, like makes me chuckle. So we try to do a holiday special because there's it's fun. It's so much fun doing this once a month, and it's like, how else can we do this? Because I think you can talk about this stuff. It's great. We try to include alternative accounts, myths, all that like weird history. So in the specials, we try to hit on some of the stuff, not so much the government cover up, but government cover ups, but the alternative accounts angle more so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it lets us indulge our culinary arts.
Hey man, I appreciate it.
We're taste buds.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Here we go.
Okay, Iron Chefs, number 6. I hosted a listening party for children aged 2 to 6 for the first 2 episodes. But after that, you got all drunk and started swearing. The children now routinely tell their parents to fuck the New World Order.
Oh, no.
Do you think the loss of individualism under the NWO is outweighed by the peace and stability they promise?
Well, that's a very loaded question.
You didn't even read it. Like, oh my god.
We try to stay to a family friendly atmosphere, but eventually the odd curse word or potty, a bit of potty talk comes in.
Sometimes we say poop.
We do say poop. Yeah, we say poop. And that's just it. It's like
it's fodder.
It's fodder. Yeah, totally. It's ammunition, and sometimes there's only one way to prove a point. And when you're talking about something as serious as, Paul McCartney faking his own death or whatever. Yeah, fucking fall. So no, you just gotta be. Yeah. So sometimes I can appreciate that, but we try to keep it basically family friendly. I would challenge anyone who people would be like, oh, I've never heard a swear word on television or the radio before.
And it's telly.
Like, yeah. Totally. Let's get your kids around a family event, and if anybody had to keep track of like the swear jar, and you had to put a doubloon in the goldfish bowl every time somebody dropped a C-bomb, then I'd be like, all right, let's just keep track of how many curse words are at your family functions, Charlie. So, anyways,
I don't know that answered the question though.
Well, the question was super loaded.
No, you
Okay.
you answered that question with like a question right at the end of like not
So,
answering.
I guess the thing would be, in terms of exposing the NWO for what it is more important, even if it includes a bit of potty talk, than the NWO continuing their agenda of hate and us speaking like a bunch of, I don't know. Yeah.
Well put.
By NWO, I'm talking, of course, the wrestling.
So yeah,
organization.
no children from now on.
Good Lord.
That's right. That's my poetry house.
That's
snaps.
another
Poetry house.
unpleasant thing to look at. Oh. Charlie's got these lobster fingers that are just...
He's got like 3 snaps in
Yeah.
a row. I can't even do that.
Fut it up.
Number 7. Which is the worst of the prequel trilogy?
Oh, hands down, Attack of the Clones. It is garbage. Every time, Phantom Menace was bad for a variety of reasons, but it's rescued immediately by the Darth Maul versus Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan scene. Attack of the Clones is just, they knew better, they knew what the mistakes were, and they just carried through. It's garbage. The whole factory scene is just made for video games. Revenge of the Sith is actually not that bad, but, you know, by that point, it was irredeemable. Yeah.
Do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, I got nothing to say.
You got nothing to add to that?
Have you got some feelings?
You rolled your eyes pretty
You're
hard.
gonna judge me. I'm tired.
Oh,
of being judged.
no.
I will Prometheus thing.
Okay, first, I'd like to point out that Greg...
I don't like.
Greg
I
liked-
don't like Matt Damon. You know, you're all about to put this on me.
Okay, that's all right. Are you a fan of the prequel trilogy?
No.
But...
Attack of the Clones is the best one.
Oh, what? I didn't want to see, if I'm going to see Boba Fett as a little kid, I want to see him with like a little suit, a little helmet, a little gun. I don't want to see him as like a,
No, agreed.
you know,
Agreed. That's
like,
what I wanted.
Go get him, Daddy. Go get him.
No,
Get
no,
him.
no.
What do you think you use this shop? Bounty hunters are us?
want to see
Obviously.
a little bounty hunter. Just,
Do you not see the
being
Clone
like,
Wars?
I said no broccoli. Kazow!
you know, even if the gun didn't work, just
No, Mom.
No, Grandpappy. I don't want another lolly.
No, Andrew, I'm with you, man. Like, it's not the greatest, but
It
literally,
sure isn't.
They really had to like rewrite a story to be like the third one now has to work. And you yourself said like the third one was not bad,
It's not bad.
and I believe that's because they rewrote most of the story and put it into the second one.
Yeah, that's a hard call.
What happens when you run out of mainstream conspiracy theories and you're forced to use weird, obscure shit like Klingon reincarnation or whatever?
Now, I've thought about this a lot. Actually, this is the number one question I've been getting from people. The thing is that every major conspiracy theory we've talked about in this episode, like, for example, the reptile people theory, we skimmed but the surface of that. That alone could be like a season of material in itself.
We could go deeper.
We could go deeper, and you can keep it really familiar with a series of just, you know, you've got your main macro look at like, was the moon landing faked, and then inside of that you've got like 10 little theories. And I know I said I wouldn't do anything on the Holocaust, but World War II conspiracy theories. Oh man, you got like about 4 years of material right there. Like it's amazing. It
Your
just
cup
doesn't stop.
runneth over.
Yeah, it runneth over, and every day, just this like Gatwick drone patrol. I mean, it just doesn't stop. Yeah, and you never know the next. And there's plenty more where that came from. You know, they're always coming around the corner.
Right.
Yeah, is Charlie a sex devil? Yeah,
We don't have to question that.
that's no
Come on.
conspiracy.
Again, I comment.
The Sex Panther.
Question 9. Where did you learn to do all of your extremely accurate accents?
Yeah. So
That Australian one.
I have.
I was wondering if I should add on to that. Could you please answer in your extremely accurate Australian accent?
Well, mate, look, all right. Not all of the accents are going to be just bloody cracking bang on, but that's not really the bloody point now, is it?
That's not Australian, is it?
I guess that's
British.
That's Australian as I get. I don't know.
I thought that was New Zealand.
It was a bit of a
Like,
Kiwi.
You were pretty
Bit of a
close.
Kiwi.
You're close to the island, but
Yeah.
not quite there.
That was a bit of a Christchurch era kind of Lord of the Rings. Slice it.
And to bring it on home, question 10 with a bullet.
Bring it home.
Real quickly, this is answer fast.
Okay.
Quickly. Who killed JFK? Go. Answer.
CIA, absolutely.
Who did 9/11?
Osama bin Laden.
And is the Little Mermaid really full of dicks in the background? Answer quickly.
Sorry.
Yes.
I'm not. I got distracted by dicks. I think there's so many dicks everywhere. It's hard to tell. I've seen The Little Mermaid and I've looked for it. I think I've seen the retcon version where there's a shocking lack of dicks. So I'm not sure. There's the version I watched recently with my family, and I had this in back of my head. I'm like, there's not a lot of dicks in this movie.
Did you say that out loud?
I didn't say that out loud. I definitely thought it in my head. I was like, it's like there's not as many dicks as I thought.
I thought there'd be more dicks in here.
Definitely. I was like, I don't know, I'm like on something that's allegedly packed, just jammed full of dicks. Just a big, just a.
I thought that the dick was on the cover of the original.
I think it was, but I think that's been changed. I think.
On the original VHS, there was a big old peener in the castle.
Yeah, so the castle was meant to look like an underwater aquatic thing, and it had like kind of like the onion helmet of the Russian churches and stuff like that. And people are like, there's a shaft with an onion on the top. That sure looks like a Dooger. Mm-hmm. Yep. So
this concludes our Q&A with Andrew Scott.
Thank God.
That's all we got, man.
I think that's the show for this month. A quick shout out to Jordan Patrick, Colin Prunty, Dana Wiley, Jesse Northey, and Takaro Otani for providing us with our sweet Opinion Time songs.
Oh, did you say Dana Wiley?
Yes, she did. She did the one with the...
man, I didn't even notice.
Yeah. You can follow us at Is It a Conspiracy on Twitter, run by our Irish madman who has questionable questions. Mm-hmm. Our Facebook group, It's a Conspiracy, thrown as little as $1 a month at the blah, 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 patreon.com.
Less than the price of a cup of coffee a day.
Or you can email us at It's a Conspiracy at protonmail.com. We have some sweet merchandise on TeePublic, or you can head over to
oldmandesign.com. Get your swag, get your tinfoil paper hats. What do you need? Tinfoil Speedos. What do you need? What do you need? Let's make it. Get at me. Let's have some fun.
Yeah,
what do you need? You're
I
thinking?
need a tinfoil tank top.
Tinfoil tank tops coming next month.
We will be back with the recording of the inaugural Crossover Centurion on Sunday, January 6th at Finn McCool's in Edmonton. The Finn McCool's in Mayfield in Edmonton. The address, all the information will be on our Facebook and Twitter.
There. Go to the Facebook event.
It starts at 7 p.m. We'll be joined by a bunch of other Edmonton-based podcasts, including our friends in Learning to Listen.
Ooh, that's me too.
Yep, that's Charlie.
Twice as much.
Charlie's. That's his other podcast.
Ooh,
that's his Judas podcast.
What's 2 times nothing?
So the Rogan Report. That's another Edmonton
I'm making triple
podcast.
that. You know?
And another one called the Undad, which is a great podcast. That's a free event. If you're welcome to attend, if you want to, you can also check it out. We'll upload it a couple days later.
I think everybody's going to upload it, aren't they?
Yeah, we're all going to stick it up. All the podcasts.
We're all going to stick it right up.
Yeah, crossover. Episode 7 will be on February 1st, and we will be back shortly after that with our Valentine's Day special. I have some Valentine's Day snacks ready for you guys.
Oh, good.
So thank you so much for listening. We made it 6 episodes, and that's...
It's been a hell of a year.
It's just been a hell of a year. Yep. Okay.
And Andrew's still forgetting about our Instagram, which is it's a conspiracy podcast. Check us out. Give us a follow. Give us a like. We've had some.
Give
pretty
them
good
the old
photos.
Instagrammy.
Yeah, show us some love.
Show us some love.
Yeah. Sorry, but I always forget the.
Yeah.
I wrote it in here too. Yeah, damn it. Happy New Year. Yeah.
Merry Christmas. We love you.
Merry Christmas. Yeah.
Don't drink and drive. Don't smoke and drive.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
It's a conspiracy!